Hey YouTube, it's ICU and welcome to the 82nd episode of Best Tech Info and Rumors. Alright, now before we get started, I just wanted to say that the new theme for Best Tech Info did just launch yesterday, and it's more of a complete redesign than just a theme, so I highly recommend checking it out if you guys haven't already, and I'll talk about that a little more when we get to the question of the day. Now first up in the news, I wanted to talk about the next generation iPhone. So a reporter from Tokyo's World Business Satellite actually reproached a recruiter working at Foxconn who claims that the influx of employees that the manufacturing company is actually hiring right now is to meet the demand for Apple's next generation iPhone, which they claim will launch in June of this year. And in the video, it's kind of hard to actually make out what the recruiter says, but they seem to say something about it being built for June. Now, whatever that means, we're not really sure. However, you can kind of assume that the recruiter meant the next generation iPhone will be coming for June, and it's being built right now for a June launch. However, the influx of employees hired at Foxconn could simply be to compensate for the vast number of employees that they've lost recently. And while numerous other reports have also suggested the same thing, that the next generation iPhone will go back to the post-iPhone 4S unveiling and launch schedule, which, as most of you know, the iPhone was previously unveiled at WWDC and released shortly after, and WWDC has always taken place in June historically. So if these reports are accurate, then we could see the new iPhone as early as June. However, multiple analysts are suggesting that if Apple does go back to the whole WWDC schedule, then the time between the launch of the iPhone 4S and the upcoming iPhone will be shorter than ever before, and it could definitely have severe negative ramifications for Apple if they were to do this. So whatever the case may or may not be, and whether Apple goes back to the post-iPhone 4S unveiling schedule or not, just be sure to stay tuned to this series, Best Tech Info and Rumors, and my website, Best Tech Info, and I'll keep you guys updated on all of the latest iPhone news. Now moving on to some news from today, it's been reported that AT&T will start unlocking iPhones on the 9th of this month. Now, in order to be eligible to get your iPhone unlocked, you need to be a customer with an account that's in good standing. You also have to either have run out your 2-year contract or bought your way out of it in order to be eligible to request an iPhone unlock. For those of you that don't know, numerous AT&T customers have been emailing Tim Cook and Tim Cook's office to actually get their out-of-contract iPhone unlocked. So I'm sure both Tim Cook's office and AT&T got tired of this, and they're actually switching to a new policy where, again, they'll unlock iPhones if you're out of contract or if you actually bought your iPhone at a no obligation price. So basically at full price from AT&T, they'll unlock those iPhones as well for use on any GSM carrier. And there's some more information on that story on the article that I have on my website, so if you guys want to read up on it, you can check it out. Also, probably the most interesting thing that emerged in the technology world this week was Google releasing mock-ups and a concept video for Project Glass. For those of you that don't know, Project Glass was actually started by some of the members of the Google X team, and basically Project Glass focuses on bringing Google Glasses or smart glasses to consumers. Now, while this is definitely a ways off, they did release some pretty cool ideas. However, they didn't release anything like technical specifications, how it will actually work, or anything like that. But when you actually look at the mock-ups, you can kind of get a general idea of how it's meant to work and how it could possibly work in the future. So if you guys want to check out the mock-ups and watch the concept video, I have them embedded on my website. Next up, according to an internal Apple Care document, certain Wi-Fi only iPad models have been experiencing poor and unreliable Wi-Fi connectivity, and if you were to actually take your iPad into Apple and tell them this or demonstrate this for them, then they will actually replace your iPad for you and send the faulty unit back to Apple engineers for them to try and figure out what's happening with certain units that causes this issue and why it isn't present in other units. However, don't get too excited. If you own the LTE and Wi-Fi model iPad, you will not be eligible for this exchange policy. It only extends to the Wi-Fi model iPads. Next up, we have another interesting story that I'm just going to briefly talk about. So if you guys want all of the details, just be sure to check out the post. Basically, Ashton Kutcher is set to play Steve Jobs in an upcoming film about Steve Jobs' life. And the director of this upcoming film thinks that Kutcher is actually perfect for the role, and Steve Wozniak, Apple Inc.'s co-founder, is actually on board. And Wozniak also said that he'll put a lot into the role. Also, in a summary report for touch panels and displays, Anyways, Digitime reports that G-Tech is actually ramping up production for the front glass panels on the new iPad. And G-Tech is likely to supply approximately 25 to 30% of Apple's cover glass orders for the iPad this year. Additionally, the report also suggests that G-Tech will supply AR glass or anti-reflective glass for the upcoming refresh of Apple's all-in-one desktop iMac. And if you are an iMac owner, or you have a Thunderbolt display, or even if you have a MacBook Pro or a MacBook Air with a glossy display, you will know that it is extremely annoying when in highlight environments, because you can definitely see a reflection in the monitor itself, and that's really not something that you want. And hopefully Apple has decided to do the right thing and including this anti-reflective glass in the upcoming refresh for the new iMac. And finally, Apple has increased the revenue share that developers will receive from iAd adverts inside their applications from 60% to 70%. And if you guys want to read up on what that means, why it's happening, or if you want more information on it or anything else I discussed in today's episode, just be sure to check down below in the more info, because I'll have links to everything there. As always, just be sure to rate this video up if you liked it and hit that subscribe button to be notified every time I release a new video. And for the question of the day, let me know down below in the comment section what you guys think of Best Tech Info's new theme. Again, go to Best Tech Info, look at it, come back here and leave your reactions down below in the comment section. And don't forget to like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, and add me to one of your circles inside of Google Plus to be updated more often. And until next time, this is ICU signing out.